This is Dr. Rosie Kuhn, and this podcast series is called Spiritual Immersion, Taking the Plunge. And the intention of these podcasts, this series of podcasts, is to support and empower you to be aware of, cultivate awareness of what's showing up for you and what gets in the way of you living in your highest truth, your highest knowing, your fullest expression of yourself. And so this process of spiritual immersion requires that we begin to, over and over, cultivate awareness of what's in the way. What are the obstacles that get in the way of us doing the work or being in the process or exploring who we are as a process of self-discovery. So more than anything else, it's really a process of looking at what's getting in the way, what's interfering. And David Hawkins, I think I've mentioned this in the past, but David Hawkins he's written a number of books. I think he's a great spiritual teacher. He wrote a book, Transcending Levels of Consciousness. And he talks about what gets in the way or what we need to do. We always want to know, how do I move forward in my process, in my evolution as a spiritual being? And what he says is just let go of what doesn't work. And Yoda says, let go of train yourself to let go of what you're afraid to lose. And so it's really more a process of letting go of what you know doesn't work, and the evolution of you will continue to unfold. You'll continually move up. It's like in an elevator. You raise yourself up vibrationally just by letting go of what doesn't work. So this process is about helping you, supporting you, empowering you to look at what doesn't work for you. Each of us is different. There's a lot of consistency between people who are doing this work, and a lot of it is very unique to you. So there's no one thing to say, here's what you're doing, here's what everyone does. But all of us do some of it to some degree. That keeps us from moving forward and lifting us up into our higher truth, our highest knowing, our highest expression of our essential nature. So today I wanted to talk about and focus on that part of us that's looking for rewards and awards for our doing, if you will. So quite often, for instance, with meditation, they'll say, here's the benefits of meditating. And I know a lot of people who meditate and they don't get those benefits. I'm one of those. Sitting meditation isn't one of the things that works for me. It's not my way, but it works for a lot of people. So if I sat and tried to do meditation and it doesn't work, then I pretty well get pissed off and I stop the whole process. I might go, this stuff. Or the process of praying. Prayer is a really an amazing conversation with God, if you will, or the divine. It's an amazing opportunity to articulate what's true for you. But if you don't get any response, then you go, oh, what the heck, nobody's listening. Or you're not getting the responses that you're looking for, much like with meditation. If I'm not getting the results, then I stop, generally speaking. And one of the things that I find very fascinating and have found fascinating with this process that I've been in for most of my life, but as a spiritual path for the last 10 years, is that I keep looking for the rewards. If I do something like meditate, I want an instant reward. I want instant gratification. And this process doesn't necessarily give you that instant gratification. So many of us are doing spiritual paths so that we manifest our heart's desire. We manifest the wealth or the health that we're looking for. And when that health and wealth doesn't come when we, want it, then we get mad and disappointed and frustrated, and we stop doing it. And this process is really based on consistency and dedication and devotion to something greater than your self-involvement, if you will. And I know that's, for me, I'll just say it this way, that's way too over my head, that there's something greater than my self-involvement. All I know is I want something from this. And primarily, I want the suffering to go away. So, so this process really is long term, generally speaking, and over time, you will see the benefits of staying present in the practice. I was thinking about Girl Scouts and Boy Scouts and earning badges, and that in some ways, this process of spiritual journey is like being a scout. And I know most countries have some form of Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts, Sea Scouts, brownies, and for little girls. I can't remember what it's called for little boys. But as you do something, let's say for brownies, when you bake cookies for the first time, you get a badge. Or you help your mom clean the house, you get a badge. You go outside and you clean up trash, you get a badge. So the system of gratification for your work is built in. You know, we have a test, we get an A, we get a test, we get a C, whatever. We get an instant, pretty much instant results of our efforts. And we like that instantness of it. But in life we keep expecting it to be that. We expect that instant gratification quite often when it isn't there. A lot of times, especially in therapy or coaching processes or evolution or mastering a sport or mastering a musical instrument, there is dedication, and over time you see the results. And so rather than much like like I was saying, in brownies and scouts, where there's a gratification and a reward, in this case, it's more like a sport, learning a sport or a musical instrument. Over time, you're cultivating a practice that brings about self-fulfillment and the fulfillment of creating what you bring to the world. My dog at times will bark because she does that sometimes. Her name is Gracie, and she's awesome. But sometimes she barks at the wrong time. So this particular podcast, I want to emphasize that when I look, rather than talking about you, when I look for instant gratification, I generally don't find it. And it's only in letting go of that instant gratification, letting go of any gratification. I'm doing something because I know it's good for me, if you will. Then do it for goodness sake rather than because you're looking for the rewards. One of the biggest rewards of this work for me is that I don't suffer so much. I suffer a whole lot less, in the sense that how I've changed my interpretations, my perceptions, my beliefs, and my judgments means I don't see the world as I used to. And so I'm not as afraid. So I'm not suffering in fear, and I'm not suffering in despair, and I'm not suffering in dread anymore. That's a huge reward for the work. And the more I do it, the more that still grows away from the suffering and into a place of serenity and peace. And at the same time, I notice these rewards that come. So as I'm doing my work for the intrinsic values of doing it, all of a sudden I get an invitation to be someone's coach. They call me or email me and say, hey, I'd like you to coach with me, or I'd like you to train me to be a coach. Or someone says, I'd like to interview you on my show. Or they say, would you be willing to come and talk to our book club? So those kinds of invitations come effortlessly when I'm in my truth, when I'm working in my patterns, when I'm shifting from the patterns of nobody cares, nobody sees me, nobody wants me. When I let go of that, I want me, I appreciate me, I value me, I'm living in my highest truth, my highest knowing, which makes me happy, then somehow things happen. There's an elevation of involvement from other people, more an elevation of the interest in my work. And so I feel more gratified by that too, because I'm able to influence more people. But in that place of I'm doing my work and I'm doing it for my own intrinsic values, there's an elevation of what shows up effortlessly. So more clients, more money, more opportunities to do radio or train people or facilitate more opportunities to be visible in the world, make a difference in the world, and perhaps more money. So little by little, what was inevitably initially an intrinsic practice of value, I do this because I feel better and I feel good, elevates me to something where I'm getting more of my heart's desire effortlessly. I don't have to do anything. So to summarize what this is, what I'm saying is quite often, especially in the beginning of a spiritual immersion process, we're looking for the tangible rewards. We want the rewards right away. And I remember I just wanted to stop suffering. I wanted to stop the process. I was in a lot of anxiety when I started this process. I just wanted it all stop and just let me do the right thing, and it'll stop, and that'll be the big reward. And it didn't stop. And over time, I realized the value of it not stopping, because I got the value of how I was changing, transforming into the person I wanted to be versus the scared, despaired, dreaded, dreadful person. I became somebody that I liked and loved and appreciated and honored and respected. That's a cool thing. That's a pretty cool award and reward. And sometimes there's always more for me to uncover and reveal in this process, which then allows me to elevate to the next level of vibration, a next level of what is possible in the world, of the 100% potentiality of me. I want to know what that is. And I want you to know what that is for you too. So instead of looking at the initial rewards, and you can't know this in a sense when you're starting a musical instrument, you start to play the guitar or violin or something, and you go, oh, that sounds terrible. Like there's no point in this, and you stop. But if you have an interest in it, if it keeps calling to you, you come back to it over and over again, and finally you're playing a song relatively well and consistently, and things are becoming easier for you, and you continue to elevate with practice and dedication. You elevate to the next level of reward of your own entertainment and your own value and your own experience. And you get to share that with the world. All right, that's pretty much it for now. If you have any comments or questions, if you're interested in doing some coaching with me, you can reach me at rosie@theparadigmshifts.com. My website is theparadigmshifts.com, and you can find blogs and videos and books there. I've written a number of books that you might find entertaining and valuable in this process. All right, blessings to you. Bye for now.